When I was younger, I was always super excited to show all of my drawings to my friends, my family, and anybody who visited my house. And since I like drawing so much, it was obvious to my family that they should get me the nicest notebooks that I've ever laid eyes on. They always kept reminding me that the only things that should be drawn in those notebooks are my very best drawings. But that sort of made me anxious in that only the best drawings could go in those notebooks. A lot of what I draw are just doodles or random sketches, and I thought, well, these can't go in those notebooks. So before you know it, I just never used them. But I kept drawing, but like on the back of old math homework or in notebooks where you're supposed to write instead of draw. Until one day, I just started seeing that I was drawing on everything except my notebooks. Or somebody might have pointed out to me that, how come you're drawing in random pieces of notebooks or random papers? You have a perfectly nice notebook right here. And I said, those are only for my really nice drawings. And they would say, oh, I understand. But after some time, I was like, you know what? Those are my notebooks. I'm just gonna draw in them. And so I just started sketching and then doodling and then drawing more and more and more. And I found this one note or post on Tumblr, and it said, one of the best ways to get started on a project for art is to just do something really fast and really quick before you get started on the project. And I'm like, why wasn't I told this when I was doing art? But then I started seeing the merit of it, in that it helps you get rid of a lot of the stress that you hold onto yourself when you're working on a project that you want to take your time in and want to make it look good. It's really easy to put a whole bunch of pressure on yourself, thinking that this has to look really good. But the more pressure that you put on yourself, the more your project seems like it's a really big thing that you need to be doing, or it feels like it's piling up because you actually feel repelled by it because you don't think you're good enough to do the project in the first place. So you start avoiding it and you start procrastinating, you start doing other things until one day you just never finish the project. But if you really want to keep at the project, you have to de-stress yourself, or you have to make goals. So what you do to get rid of some of that anxiety, some of that stress, is you start with something small. Just do a little doodle, a sketch, maybe color it if you feel like it, and then close those up and open your project. Then it doesn't seem so bad if you make a couple mistakes while you're working on your project, because you already made a whole sketch and it didn't turn out that bad. Sometimes it can be difficult trying to decide when a project is done, because as you go along, you start figuring out, oh, this could be better, or this could be better. But at some point near the end of a project, when you're just putting the little details, you have to decide when to finish it. When you're pretty satisfied, like I would say 85 to 95% satisfied with the projects, because almost nobody's going to be 100% satisfied. And I think that's usually due to the more you're working on a project, the more you see how it can be better. But sometimes even after you finish a project, you can see, oh, I could have done this better. But that's how we learn, or at least that's my way of learning. Doodling doesn't just have to be for relieving stress. Sometimes you want to start a new project, but you don't know what to do. So, I doodle, and I let it take me wherever it wants to. Sometimes I start doodling, and I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm just trying things out and seeing what feels right, and adding things more, going with the flow. Eventually, I end up with a sketch of something that I decide, oh, this seems like something worth finishing. Needless to say that I have several sketchbooks now in one of my drawers that are just full of unfinished or sketched out doodles that sometimes I go through when I'm stuck and I want to try something new, or just redraw something old that I really liked. I don't think the equivalent of doodling has to happen in just drawing. It can be used for making videos, for example, in that I just think of this video as me rambling, so I don't put a lot of pressure on me that it has to be perfect, although I did procrastinate, but that's not the point. Sometimes people who have writer's block, I see them making one-shots, and a one-shot is just a one-page story usually. It can happen in the music world as well. They just do a little melody and they may or may not use it for the future, but they'll probably record it anyway. I'm pretty sure the general term for this is called a warm-up, and that of course can happen in almost every area of creativity or even sports. This whole time I've been talking about doodles and I haven't actually been talking about what I'm doodling here, which are just old characters of mine that I've drawn since middle school. And it took me a while to figure out what their color schemes would be. These are just very simplified version of those characters, because character drawing are my favorite thing to draw. And at first I used to draw everything or most of my characters with one shape size, thank you anime, but after seeing various different cartoons and looking at different styles, I started simplifying my characters more and playing with new and different shapes, seeing if I can pull out what that character is like on the daily simply with their normal expressions, their colors, and pretty much the shape of the character. It's fun. It's pretty nice to know that a complete stranger can guess the main 3 attributes of what a character is made of just by looking at their doodles. And I guess that's another sign to know that you are slowly but surely getting much better. More often than not, I like having a solid neutral or pale or gray color in the background, because it helps me figure out if I forgot to color in a certain section of a character or if it's not close enough to the line. I usually like having the lines in colors also because it just makes it look nicer and it makes it pop. But since this was supposed to be a quick doodle, that turned into kind of a short project in itself, because colors. So that's it for now. Thanks for joining me on another video, and subscribe if you want to see more, and comment if you want to see something specific. Thank you, and bye-bye.